Hello and welcome to this particular video. In this particular video, we'll be looking at the concepts of loops. And basically, loops, let me write that out, has to do with repetitions until a particular condition is being met. Let's say, for example, if you take a look at all our codes in the previous section of this course, you discover that they are just kind of, should I say, one way. What I mean by that is that when once the code is done executing, it will stop. It does not go back to repeat itself until maybe a particular condition is being met. And like I always advise, when it comes to coding, don't just rush to code. You try as much as possible to understand the concept very well before trying to, interpret it using code. Let's say, for example, let me bring this to a layman understanding. Assuming you have a very rich relative, maybe an uncle or an auntie, and this auntie wants to relocate to another part of the world, very far from the country where you are living, and this uncle of yours actually had a whole lot of wealth, cars, houses, name it, and you are just 15 years old, and the man looking at you will just be like, oh, this guy cannot handle this wealth. So he now hands over everything to a particular person, let's say maybe a lawyer, and then gives that person an instruction. And the instruction is this: until this my relative is up to 25 years, currently he's 15, until he's up to 25, don't give him this wealth. So now, what a person will be doing, the person in which this wealth has been handed over to take care of for the meantime, will be in form of a loop. Each time you do your birthday, the person will come around to check, say, okay, oh, he's now 16. He will go, come back again and check, you are now 17. He will go. Come back again and check, you are now 18. Come back again and check, you are now 24. And then come back the last time and now check, oh, you are now what? 25. He now hands over everything to you. So that's basically the concept of looping in programming. That's just the basic understanding. Now we have various types of loops in JavaScript. The first one we'll be looking at is the for loops. The for loop, this is how we write the for loops. It's just the basic syntax. Let's say we have something like variable I, which stands for the index. So we set it to position 0 at first. And then we say I, let's say maybe I less than 10. Let's use 10 for now. And then we now increment I. I'm going to explain what each of them stands for. Okay, so I can say something like console.log I. Now the aim of this particular code is to print out from 0 to 9 on the console. Let's see what we have on the console. You know how to open your console. I just tap on F12 on the keyboard so that I can have that. Alright, so you see we have 0, 1. Now take note of this line. That means this code has been executed the first time, executed the second time, like that till we get to 9. Come on, what is happening? Alright, let's break that down. So we declared a variable called I. You can actually call the variable anything, and we set it to the value of 0. So we are saying this is now the condition. As far as this value of I is less than 10, between 0 and 9, those are the value less than 10 from 0 to 9, continue printing that value. So now the value is 0, and the computer comes here to check for the condition. Is 0 less than 10? The answer is yes. You say okay, print out 0. After printing out 0, you say increment it. Okay, that's add 1 to it. That's what it means. So this place now becomes 1. And now this place is now 1. So 1 less than 10, is that true? Yes. So print out that 1. Increment it is now 2. So this place is now 2. So we say 2 less than 10. True. So you print out 2, console.log 2. So that's how the computer keeps on repeating it until this particular condition is being met. And what's that condition? all the values between 0 and 10. As long as that value is less than 10, continue printing it. But when once you increment it and it reaches a point where a particular value is more than 10, don't print it again. Stop the loop. Okay. All right. So that's how it is. Now let me show you. For example, we can actually apply if statement here. Let's say I want you to print out all the even numbers between 0 and 10. How will you do that? You can just say something like, if that value, that's if I, we are printing modulus 2, that means when you divide a particular value of I by 2 and the remainder is 0, print out that particular number. That means that number is an even number. Okay, console.log that particular I. So in this case, we have a conditional, the kind of values we want to see on the console. Okay, so we save and refresh. So now we see 2, 4, 6, 8. And now your first task, as far as this particular video is concerned, is to print out all the odd numbers. I've done for even numbers. You have to print out all the odd numbers between 0 and 20. All right, apart from this, is there any other thing we can actually use these for loops for? Yes. Let's say, for example, you were working in an organization and then you have let's say a whole lot of people, maybe in a school or an academy. Then the management of the school just wake up one day and say, we now have a unique ID called 23 or 24. We want you to add 23 to the names of everybody in the school. Assuming you have up to 500,000 students, how will you go about that? That's something that the knowledge of loop can actually help you solve within a couple of seconds. That's the power of computer and programming as a whole. So I'm trying to create an array containing a list of people, and then we'll see how we can actually apply what I've just said. Okay. All right. Okay. Now this is what is going to happen. What's the name of this our array? Let's call it maybe student. Let's call it student. Student. Okay. So now this is how we are going to write it. We are still going to use the same pattern. I will do away with this for now because all right, so this is what we are going to do, the technicalities. So this particular value is 10, so we can just say something that like the condition while it is less than student dot length, that's the length of that student, assuming they were up to 2000. So this place, the value here now, we want it to be dynamic. Let's say we don't know the numbers we have in the array, but although this one we can easily count 1, 2, 3, 4, assuming we don't know. So we say why that value is less than, you know, the length of that array, begin to do something. So we can say console.log. What are we consoling here? You can say students from our knowledge of indexing. Okay, student I. Okay, so you see the value here. If it is 0, student position 0. When this place becomes 1, print out student position 1. When this place becomes 2, print out student position 2. Then we concatenate it with, let's say 2, 3, 4. Let's say that's the value we were asked to apply to our work. I'm using it as a string for now. So let's see what we have. Whether we can actually print everybody. So you see, we now have Sam, Fed being attached 2, 3, 4 to their names. So even if we have up to 10,000 people, that's how we can actually overcome that, and that's the power of loops. Okay. All right. So now let's look at another type of loops called the while loops. The while loops is just like the for loops, but just that the structure is actually different. The structure is actually different. Let's say in this particular one we have something like maybe a value being set to 0, so it's a variable. Let's say variable, we call it value being set to 0. Okay, then we now have the while loop structure. We say while that value is less than, let's say maybe 20, we should begin to do something. Okay, so we can say something like console.log that value. So after printing out that value, what should happen? Continue to increment that value. Now let's see what we have on the console. I will save and refresh my work. So you see we have from 0 to 19. Now this is your second task. We have actually printed from 0 to 19. I want you guys to do the opposite. Okay, that means we're gonna have from 19 will now be here, 18, 17, 16, like that, till we now have what? 0 here. That is your second task as far as this particular video is concerned. Then the last one we want to look at is the do loops. The do loop is just like the while loops. Let's see how that particular one is. So we can say something like, let's still use value. Okay, this time around we can say value 2. There is a variable. Value 2 equals, let's say something like maybe 10. Let me give you a hint. 10. So we do. This is how we write it. Do this. Console.log that value 2. Okay, and then decrement it. That's how we do decrementing value 2. Okay, value 2 decrement. Then we now say while the condition now comes last, while value 2 is greater than 0. Okay, now let's see what we have on the browser using this. I'll save and refresh. So you see, I've basically solved the challenge I just gave to you. Yes, so you see we are starting from here 1, 2, 3, but I'm using do loops. I want you guys to achieve the same thing using what? While loops. Thank you very much for staying still up to this particular point as far as this course is concerned. And I want you guys to please submit your tasks on the community, because our team will be there waiting to assess your work. Thank you very much, as I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye bye for now.